Imagine a warship longer than 3 football fields, housing nearly 5,000 crew, dozens of fighter jets, and multiple escort ships constantly circling around it. Now consider the fuel appetite of such a floating city. While the carrier itself is nuclear-powered, its aircraft and the accompanying destroyers, cruisers, and supply ships depend entirely on traditional fuel. Each FA-18 Hornet can burn thousands of gallons on a single mission, and a full strike group might consume over 100,000 gallons per day. Without a constant fuel supply, even the most advanced fleet would be immobilized in days. The takeaway is clear. Power means nothing without energy, and every drop counts. This refueling system began within the vast, empty Pacific during World War II. As U.S. carriers were pushing deep into enemy territory, they quickly learned a brutal truth. No port meant no fuel, and no fuel meant defeat. Naval engineers improvised a system that seemed impossible at the time, trying to refuel moving warships at sea. Early trials were hazardous, with hoses snapping and ships drifting dangerously close. Crews faced both fear and skepticism, but necessity forced innovation, and soon the Navy refined the process into a reliable operation. This breakthrough allowed fleets to remain on station for extended periods, shifting the balance of power. This desperation sparked innovation that has reshaped warfare. Behind every aircraft carrier sails a quieter but critical partner, known by the Navy as the fleet oiler. These ships are essentially floating gas stations, carrying millions of gallons of fuel for carriers, jets, and escort vessels. One oiler can shadow a strike group for weeks, ensuring no mission is interrupted by low fuel. They operate silently, yet their role is pivotal. Without them, even a nuclear-powered carrier would be stranded once its jets or escort ships ran dry. Their presence highlights a core truth. Naval power depends as much on logistics as on firepower. The takeaway is simple. Support vessels keep the fleet alive, often unnoticed. When refueling begins, the carrier and oiler maneuver side by side, separated by roughly 180 feet, barely half the length of the ship itself. Heavy fuel hoses are sent across, guided and secured by sailors, while both vessels continue moving at 12 to 16 knots. Swells, wind, and small course changes all threaten the operation, yet it's executed with precision daily. Every crew member's actions are synchronized, relying on experience and constant communication. It's a ballet of steel and water. Even the strongest warship depends on coordination, timing, and skill to remain effective, with attention to detail that saves lives. During replenishment, observers often notice 2 hoses stretched between the ships instead of one. The reason is efficiency and safety. By using dual hoses, the oiler can pump 2 different types of fuel at once. With one line might carry jet fuel for aircraft, while the other sends marine diesel for escorts. It also doubles the transfer rate, reducing the time both ships must remain locked in formation. This approach saves hours on each operation and limits exposure to hazards at sea. A carrier operates like a city, and that city eats, drinks, and uses supplies at a relentless pace. Before a replenishment, supply ships stage pallets of fresh produce, frozen meats, dry stores, bottled water, medical kits, cleaning materials, linens, and repair parts in numbered holds. During connected replenishment, a high line is rigged between ships, cargo trolleys ride the span wire, and slung pallets cross the gap to receiving stations. A height-adjustable pad-eye on the carrier brings each load to deck level. Sailors steady the pallet with taglines, then forklifts roll it to staging areas. Cold chain items go straight to refrigerated spaces. Temperatures are logged, and first in, first out rules prevent waste. Dry stores are scanned and routed by location codes, from bakery flour to coffee for night watches. Mail arrives in sealed bags, sorted by division, then delivered to berthing and work centers. Email moves through satellite links managed by the communications team. Operational traffic has priority. Personal messages sync when bandwidth permits, and crew kiosks let sailors check inboxes and send notes home. Medical supplies and pharmaceuticals are transferred under custody logs, with lot numbers verified and expiration dates recorded. Every move is tracked, every container is accounted for, and the galley schedule is planned days ahead to match projected consumption. When a carrier and oiler draw close, they must maintain perfect alignment for the entire transfer. Both vessels travel at steady speed, usually around 12 to 16 knots, with only a narrow margin for error. If one ship drifts even slightly, tension on the hoses can surge and cause them to snap, spilling fuel and halting the operation. Crews constantly monitor distance, speed, and rudder adjustments to keep the formation stable. It is a coordinated maneuver that looks routine, but carries risk every second. The takeaway is that precision under pressure keeps the mission alive. For all the technology involved, fueling at sea still relies heavily on people. Sailors on the carrier's deck and the oiler's deck handle the heavy lines, guide the hoses, and communicate with hand signals or radios. Each step must be done in sequence, and every sailor knows mistakes can put lives at risk. The work is physically demanding and often carried out under harsh weather conditions, yet it remains essential. At its core, the operation depends on trained crews working with absolute discipline. Calm seas make replenishment challenging, but rough weather raises the difficulty to another level. High swells can shift ships unpredictably, forcing constant course corrections to avoid parting the fuel lines. Heavy rain, strong winds, or poor visibility add even more risk, testing both the crews and their equipment. In severe conditions, refueling may be delayed, but during combat operations, it often must proceed regardless. These moments show the resilience and focus required of naval teams, as success at sea means adapting to nature and not waiting for perfect conditions. Vertical replenishment, often called VERTREP, adds speed and flexibility when connected methods are slow or sea conditions are rough. Helicopters launch from the supply ship, hover over deck spots, hook external loads in cargo nets or on single-point slings, then fly a short pattern to the carrier. Flight quarters are set on both ships, the tower clears each approach, and a landing signal enlisted director guides the aircraft with hand signals to a steady hover. As the load touches down, deck crews move in, chock and chain the pallet, and ground the hook. The helicopter releases, climbs, and returns for the next lift, while forklifts and pallet jacks move cargo to elevators for rapid distribution below decks. Critical repair parts, medical items, and mail benefit most from VERTREP, since they can bypass crowded connected stations and arrive within minutes of launch. Ordnance can move by VERTREP when authorized, using approved nets and procedures, with safety observers posted and a clear arc around rotor wash. Night VERTREP is possible with lighting control and night vision equipment, but only after detailed risk checks. Carriers often run both connected replenishment and VERTREP at the same time, one moving fuel and heavy streams, the other cycling high-priority pallets, which keeps the flight schedule on time and the ship supplied even when the sea refuses to cooperate. Even the most routine refueling becomes a high-stakes operation in hostile territory. Carriers and oilers are at their most vulnerable while connected, moving slowly and focused on the transfer. Any attack or sudden threat could be catastrophic, which is why such operations are carefully planned and heavily guarded by escorts. Every maneuver, every timing adjustment is calculated to minimize exposure. The operation demonstrates that even logistical support can carry danger in a combat zone. Not all fuel is created equal, and carriers must juggle at least two main types. Jet fuel powers aircraft, demanding purity and precision to keep engines safe at high speeds. Ship fuel, on the other hand, keeps the escorts and support vessels moving steadily across the ocean. During replenishment, the oiler transfers both types simultaneously through separate lines, ensuring that every part of the fleet stays mission-ready. This dual system highlights the complexity behind a process that may seem simple from afar. Weapons replenishment follows procedures that put safety and accountability first. Ammunition ships or supply ships bring bombs, missiles, gun rounds, sonobuoys, countermeasures, and pyrotechnics packed on certified pallets with humidity indicators and shock sensors. During transfer, the same span wire concept is used, but ordnance stations maintain added standoff and strict communications discipline. Weather and sea state are checked. Lightning and heavy rain halt the evolution. Radios and spark-producing tools are controlled, and fire parties stand by with charged hoses and extinguishers. On arrival, ordnance teams verify lot numbers, serial numbers, and packaging integrity, then route items to magazines with controlled ventilation and posted temperature limits. Fuses, initiators, and arming wires remain separated until build-up on the hangar deck or flight deck, where quality assurance inspectors sign each step in the chain. Engines for aircraft, radar modules, and other high-value spares cross in shock-mounted containers, then ride dedicated elevators to intermediate maintenance shops. When mission tasking changes, the supply officer and weapons officer replan loads, strike material up from magazines, and stage it for aircraft loading windows. Every lift, every signature, and every handoff leaves a record, so the ship knows exactly what it can deliver on the next launch cycle. Technology has made underway replenishment safer and faster, but human crews remain essential. Modern oilers and carriers use sensors, automated winches, and monitoring systems to track hose tension, speed, and alignment. Cameras give officers real-time visibility of every connection, while warning systems alert crews to potential hazards before they escalate. These upgrades reduce accidents and streamline operations, but they supplement rather than replace skill. It may seem counterintuitive, but slowing down doesn't always make refueling easier. Too slow, and the ships become unstable in the water, making hose control more difficult. Too fast, and the strain on equipment increases sharply. Finding the perfect speed is a balancing act that requires experience and constant adjustment. This precision ensures fuel flows safely and efficiently while minimizing risk. During a single underway replenishment, millions of gallons of fuel can be transferred in just a few hours. To put that in perspective, one oiler can fill the equivalent of thousands of tanker trucks in that time. This constant flow keeps the carrier strike group operational for weeks without returning to port. The scale is staggering, yet it's executed with routine precision. Fuel for carriers doesn't appear magically at sea. It follows a complex chain from refinery to battlefield. Tankers, storage depots, and transport networks across continents coordinate to keep oilers stocked and fleets fueled. Any disruption along this chain can delay operations or force strategic adjustments. This invisible network proves that global coordination is as critical as tactical skill. Fueling a carrier strike group isn't cheap. Millions of dollars are spent just to keep jets in the air and ships moving. The cost doesn't include maintenance, crew salaries, or combat systems, yet it represents a significant portion of operational budgets. These numbers highlight that even the most advanced warships depend on consistent, expensive support. Sailors rehearse underway replenishment more than many combat drills. Every step, from connecting hoses to adjusting speed, is practiced repeatedly until it becomes second nature. Mistakes can be costly, so crews drill under simulated pressure, rough seas, and timed scenarios. This preparation ensures that when real operations occur, efficiency and safety remain high. Even seasoned crews face challenges. History records incidents where hoses snapped, lines tangled, or ships drifted too close, causing minor or major damage. Each accident becomes a learning opportunity, leading to improved procedures and stricter training standards. These examples show that no matter how routine an operation appears, risk is always present. Navies are exploring drones, autonomous tankers, and advanced sensor systems to make refueling safer and faster. These innovations could allow carriers to stay operational longer while reducing risk to human crews. However, human oversight remains essential, especially in complex or unpredictable conditions.